I stood motionless, my boots sinking into the churned-up dirt, staring at what was once my sanctuary. The rolling hills of my 12-acre ranch, once shaded by towering pecans and sycamores, were now a barren wasteland. Every tree gone. Not pruned, not spared, but obliterated, their stumps jagged scars in the earth. The air reeked of gasoline and splintered wood, and deep tire tracks scarred the ground like a fresh wound. My heart pounded as I scanned the devastation. I'd only been away for 3 days. 3 days. Yet in that fleeting moment, the Homeowners Association, led by a shadowy board, had sent a crew to my newly bought ranch in Willow Creek, Tennessee, and erased a century of nature's work. No warning. No permission. Nothing. My name is Daniel Harper, 52, a retired paramedic who spent 25 years racing through Nashville's streets, saving lives under flashing lights. I'm no millionaire, just a man who wanted a quiet patch of land to call home. Last fall, I bought this ranch, a modest spread with a weathered farmhouse, a sturdy barn, and a grove of trees that whispered stories of generations past. I poured my savings and soul into it, fixing fences, painting the barn a deep forest green, and adopting 2 rescue mules, Jasper and Belle. But now, standing in the wreckage, I felt a rage I hadn't known since my days pulling people from car crashes. Who did this? And why? The story began 6 months earlier when I moved to Willow Creek, a small town 40 miles outside Nashville, where the air smells of honeysuckle and the locals wave from their porches. My ranch sat on the edge of town, technically under the Willow Creek Estates HOA, though it had once been a standalone parcel. The previous owner had fought to keep it free from HOA control, but a rezoning years back pulled it into their grasp. I didn't think much of it at first. Keep the grass mowed, don't blast music, and they'd leave me alone. I was wrong. I met Evelyn Carver, the HOA president, a week after moving in. She rolled up in a gleaming black SUV, her silver earrings glinting as she handed me a binder of rules thicker than a phone book. "We maintain a certain standard here, Mr. Harper," she said, her smile as cold as a winter creek. "No unapproved structures, no livestock over 250 pounds, no landscape changes without board consent." I stared at her. "Ma'am, this is a ranch. I've got mules. They're part of the deal." Her smile tightened. "You're in our district now. Rules apply." The trouble started small. A citation for excessive barn lights. A fine for leaving a wheelbarrow visible from the road. Then a $200 penalty for unauthorized animals, my mules. I pushed back, digging into property records and hiring a lawyer, Sarah Klein, to review the zoning. My land straddled a legal gray area, half inside the HOA's domain, half outside. I attended board meetings, waiving deeds and permits, making it clear I wouldn't roll over. Evelyn didn't like that. Her eyes would narrow, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "We're just protecting the community, Daniel." When my brother Mike invited me to a weekend fishing trip in Kentucky, I hesitated. The HOA had been quiet, but I didn't trust them. I asked my neighbor, George, a retired electrician in his 60s, to keep an eye on the place. He loved the ranch, often helping me fix fences or feed the mules. "Don't worry," he said. "I'll watch it like it's mine." I was gone 3 days. And in that time, the HOA sent a crew with chainsaws and bulldozers to wipe every tree from my land. I returned to find the ranch unrecognizable. The pecan tree where I'd hung a tire swing for my niece gone. The sycamore where Jasper liked to nap in the shade reduced to a patch of dirt. My phone buzzed with a text from George. "Try to stop them. They had papers saying it was approved." "Thought you knew." "Approved?" I hadn't signed a thing. No letters, no calls, nothing since I challenged their fines. My blood boiled as I surveyed the damage. Someone had authorized this, and it wasn't me. I drove straight to the HOA office, a sleek building with manicured shrubs and a sign reading Willow Creek Estates, a community of excellence. The receptionist, flustered, claimed Evelyn was out. "Then explain why your crew destroyed my land," I demanded. She stammered, "I don't know. There must be a mistake." I leaned in. "Your mistake cost me heritage trees, protected by law. Someone named Victor L. Ramsey signed off." "Who is he?" Her face paled, and she vanished into a back room. A man emerged, introducing himself as Carl, the HOA's compliance officer. "It was a beautification project," he said, avoiding my eyes. "Your trees were deemed a hazard." Hazard. I snapped. I have permits proving they were healthy, home to endangered bats. You had no right. He sighed. It's probably a mix-up. We'll look into it. I pressed him about Ramsey, but he dodged, saying the name wasn't public-facing. That's when I knew this wasn't an accident. At City Hall, I pored over records and found a bombshell, a permit filed by Ramsey Development Group to convert my ranch into a community park. The plan called for clearing all non-native trees to prepare the land. It was a land grab, cloaked in bureaucracy, using an obscure annexation clause to absorb my property into HOA control. They thought I'd be too distracted to notice while I was away. The stakes escalated. A notice arrived, nailed to my gate, eminent domain intent. 30 days. The HOA was moving to seize my ranch for public use. Then, one night, I found my mules gone, stolen from their pasture. A note was pinned to the barn. Back off, or you lose more. I called Sheriff Tom Wheeler, a grizzled veteran I'd known from my paramedic days. He arrived, flashlight sweeping the ground. These tracks lead to HOA land, he said. We'll find your mules, but this is bigger than theft. With Sarah's help, I filed an injunction to freeze the seizure. My old friend Ray, a former FBI agent turned fraud investigator, joined the fight. He uncovered that Ramsey Development was a shell company tied to Evelyn's husband, Leonard Carver. They'd been flipping properties, using HOA fines and forged documents to force owners out. My ranch, now valuable due to a nearby biotech campus, was their latest target. The community rallied. My sister, Laura, started a Facebook group, Save Harper Ranch, which exploded with stories of HOA abuse. A widow fined into foreclosure, a veteran cited for a flagpole. At a town hall, 200 residents packed the local grange, waving signs and sharing grievances. An elderly woman, Martha, produced a 1970s map showing my ranch's original boundaries, proof the HOA had illegally redrawn lines to claim my land. But the HOA fought dirty. George was attacked outside his home, left with a concussion and a smashed phone. My barn burned to the ground. A charred message painted on the rubble. This is just the start. My well pump was sabotaged, cutting off water. Evelyn filed a $40,000 countersuit, accusing me of defaming the HOA. Each move was designed to break me. Then came a breakthrough. Lisa, a nervous HOA clerk I'd once helped with a broken-down car, met me behind the Baptist church. She handed me a USB drive. This has everything, she whispered. Forged permits, bribe receipts, emails. Evelyn and Leonard framed me to keep me quiet. The files were damning. Proof they'd siphoned $600,000 in HOA dues into their accounts, targeting 6 properties, including mine. In court, Sarah presented the evidence before Judge Clara Monroe, a no-nonsense woman with a reputation for fairness. Evelyn sat poised, her lawyer objecting furiously, but the documents, Lisa's files, Martha's map, Ray's financial trails were undeniable. Judge Monroe's gavel fell. This is fraud and abuse of power. I'm halting all HOA land actions and ordering a state audit. The courtroom buzzed. Evelyn's composure cracked, her husband slumping beside her. That night, Laura called, frantic. Someone broke into the farmhouse. I raced home to find my front door ajar, papers strewn across the floor, and a note. You'll pay for this. Sheriff Wheeler dusted for prints and stationed a deputy nearby. Ray traced the break-in to a security firm hired by Leonard. The Carvers were desperate, their empire unraveling. The final blow came when Lisa testified, protected by the court. She detailed how Evelyn coerced her into notarizing fake documents, threatening her job. George, now recovering, submitted video of the tree-cutting crew ignoring his protests. The audit revealed the Carvers had resold 3 seized properties to offshore buyers. Evelyn was arrested for fraud and embezzlement. Leonard was caught trying to flee to Texas. The HOA board dissolved, leaving behind a trail of shredded files. Rebuilding was slow but healing. Neighbors helped raise a new barn, its green paint gleaming under the Tennessee sun. Kids planted saplings where the old trees once stood. Martha brought homemade pies, and Lisa helped repaint fences. Judge Monroe's final order freed my ranch from HOA control, ensuring no future claims without my consent. Jasper and Belle grazed peacefully, the scars of their ordeal fading. One evening, as I sipped coffee on the porch, a letter arrived, hand-delivered. It contained a deed to a nearby lot, now in my name, from an unknown Crestwood Ventures. A note read, "You won this round, Harper. But Willow Creek isn't yours yet." I stared across the hills, a chill settling in. Someone new was watching, but I was ready. I'd faced fires, thieves, and liars, and I'd won. This land was mine, and no one would take it again. The fight for Willow Creek Ranch wasn't just about trees or deeds, it was about standing up to bullies who hide behind rules and power. Have you ever faced injustice in your community? Maybe an HOA, a shady landlord, or a corrupt official? Share your story in the comments. Do you think violence, like the attack on George or the barn fire, is ever justified to protect what's yours? Or should we always fight through the courts? Take a stand, and let's hear your voice. Your story matters.